Vicki, would you agree that, would you agree that every dog is as individual as even a human is?
Absolutely. There are every range from shy dogs to very hard-headed dogs. Some are very willing, some are very stubborn. Some of the stubborn dogs are actually very sensitive. There are so many different variations and combinations of types of personalities, and that needs to be evaluated with each dog that you train.
To be an effective dog trainer, whether you're a professional or just somebody that's training their own dog, you really need to be able to understand your dog and what he's thinking, really, right?
It's very important to learn how to walk in your dog's paws, so to speak, to try and anticipate what he's thinking and what his next move is going to be. And that partially comes from being very observant about your dogs and always watching every move that they make, and it also comes from something within you.
When you get a new puppy or you're working with your dog, you really have to build that relationship to understand that.
That's very true. Socialization is very important. Puppies need to learn how to learn. You can't expect a dog to learn about learning when he is always kept in a crate or shut up in a kennel. He needs to get out and interact with you and with the world in general.
Vicki, back when you were a professional trainer and even now as a serious amateur, you worked with a lot of dogs. Give me a basic or one just quick example of how you use reading your dog in training.
Sure. If my dog is nervous when I get him out, I'm going to spend a little bit of extra time helping him unwind, helping him relax, because I know that I won't get what I want out of a training session if he's uptight and worried about what's excess in his mind. If I've got a dog that's a little bit too wired, I'll do something to tone him down a little bit before we go. I might throw him a few bumpers, you know, just to get a little bit of extra steam off him before we get into a training session. If I'm in the middle of a training session and I see a dog get uptight, for example, I will try to determine at that very instant why that is and come up with a solution at that instant to fix that.
When the birds are piling in fast and furious, the last thing you want to be doing is keeping an eye on your dog. Whether the hunting's great or slow, a good, steady dog makes all the difference in the world.
Man, that's pretty to watch.
Beautiful.
But it doesn't come easy.
It takes a lot of work.
Now, Percy sat there nice and steady. Why is steadiness so important, especially for a hunter?
First and foremost, it becomes an issue of safety. It can create a lot of problems if a dog starts breaking when you're trying to shoot, trying to watch your dog. There may be other hunters in the area as well. In addition to that, the dog is going to miss seeing other birds down, possibly a cripple that he needs to have an idea as to which direction it went, especially if he hasn't progressed to a handling stage yet. So it's really important for him to sit still, and that way he'll be able to watch any other birds coming in as well and be able to mark them down.
So it actually is helping the dog as well make better retreat.
Absolutely.
The dog's natural instinct is to go after the bird, to chase. How do you bring that under control and make a dog steady?
You start that in the yard in a controlled situation, just as you do your obedience commands. And the best way to introduce it is with the dog on a rope, so that you have complete control over him, and when he breaks to retrieve, you can stop him without having to chase him down.
You're saying it's better to bring him back, put him at heel again, and then go out and get that dummy yourself, not let him pick that bird up.
Sure. Or bring him back and then resend him after he has sat still for a few seconds. With the double retrieve that he is executing right now, it's very important for him to be steady so that he can watch both birds down. If there were a third bird involved, such as a cripple, he also needs to be sitting still so that he can mark which direction that bird is taking off. If he's jumping around, he'll miss that entirely. With his steadiness, he will be a very effective retriever.
Now, he went after the second bird, is that common?
Usually that's standard for the dog to go after the last bird down.
But with steadiness, you're right. I mean, that dog had no problem making that double retrieve because he sat there and watched each bird hit the water before he was allowed to go.